My name is Maddie, and I'm 16 and a junior in high school. I'm living with depression, anxiety, and OCD. I want to share my experiences with others because I feel that it's really important that people don't feel stigmatized and don't feel like they have to hide when they're living with a mental disorder. My symptoms started when I was in the 8th grade, but they really started to get bad my freshman year of high school, and it kind of climaxed around the beginning of my sophomore year of high school. I was just feeling really down all the time, and I was super hard on myself, and whatever I did was never good enough for my standards. I was just stressed all the time, and I just felt like I was never good enough. My grades were never high enough, and every day I was just so focused on what I wasn't doing right instead of what I was doing right. I was like convinced that whatever I did was never good enough, so I began to self harm. But eventually, my parents did find out, and they took me to see a therapist who I'm still seeing like today. I told a couple of my very close friends after I had hit my lowest point, and they were all super supportive, but I didn't tell them much. I was just trying to keep it like I still don't talk about it a lot to this day. Eventually, during the fall of my sophomore year, I was put into the hospital, and it was really like good for me because it kind of forced me to face the things that I hadn't been dealing with. And that's when I got diagnosed with OCD and depression officially. When I got out of the hospital, I had missed 2.5 weeks of school, so I was super behind on all my schoolwork, and I was stressed. And like I started to feel horrible again, but I was able to talk to my teachers, and they were super great about it, and they said that they knew that like they had noticed that something wasn't right, and they were willing to do anything to help me. I also picked up a couple clubs and just stuff that I actually enjoyed instead of doing stuff that I felt like I had to do. The advice that like I would give to somebody else is just do what makes you happy. And I know it's a lot easy. It's a lot easier to say than it sounds, and it was so difficult for me to like finally prioritize everything that I was going through. But once I did, I've been feeling so much better and talk to people. Like, again, it's a lot harder than it sounds. And it took me a long time to come to that. But it's just when you feel like you're ready, just like reach out. Because especially if you have a friend who you know has like battled mental illnesses, it's a lot easier to talk to them than it is to somebody who like hasn't battled mental illnesses because it feels like they understand versus they're just and like people who have suffered also they don't pity you, they just kind of like they want to help you through it. And I like just again do what makes you happy because once you prioritize things it gets better.